Good evening, folks. Kent Hovind here and the crew at Dinosaur Adventureland in lovely Lenox, Alabama. Beautiful today. Day off. Get to give another tour. Brother, I give a tour every day. We're closed Sunday, Monday. Doesn't matter. They come anyway. So come on. We'll give you a tour of the place. It's amazing. We're going to be tonight in Psalm chapter 102. Help, Lord. I'm in trouble. Anybody ever been in trouble before you had to call on the Lord? Lord, what do you help? You'll see Psalm 102. A great one. Let's see. We're on a bunch of channels. You can get them on Facebook. Get our show on Facebook, on Rumble, on, let's see, Twitter, whatever that is. On drdino.com has a list of all of them. Get our app, the TV, Kent Hovind TV. Cost us $6,000 a year to have that. So if you want to help, please do. Okay, we just pay for it. We give it out for free. We want people to come. If you could help, that'd be great. Also, we have a fundraiser for Noah's Ark. Is that right? Was a GoFundMe or what is it? Okay, if you want to connect the black dots there, help us finish the Ark. It's looking really sharp, and people love that part of the tour. Okay, let's see. You can get to all of our get to our Kent Hovind TV by pushing one of these buttons. Okay, Apple TV or something. Do whatever you got to do. You do it. I don't understand all that. Okay, you can like our channel, share it, comment, do all that kind of stuff. Help us to open for free. Join our 777 club. I like what you're doing. And thank you, Mr. Nelson, who calls himself R and Ra, the sun god, for the wonderful idea. He said he wanted 666 people to give him $1 a day for his atheist activities. I don't think you got 20 people to feed like I do and 140 acres to maintain, but it's a good idea. Only we need 777, not 666. Okay, 9.05 years been open now for free. Come on down. It's really amazing here. Brother, I've lived here the whole time, and I'm still stunned how fun it is around here. Yeah, great. Come get our creation seminar series. Somebody sent me, we found this book digging through one of the boxes that gets lost around here. The Hovind Family Yearbook, Y2K. There's somebody who keeps track of all the Hovinds all over the world, I guess, and look at this. Hovind longevity. Julia Hovind lived to be 94.6 years old up in Washington. Sadie Hovind, 91.9 years old in Wisconsin. A lot of them in Wisconsin, a lot of the relatives up there. Otto Hovind, 90 years old. Let's see. Egbert, 88 years old. Henry, I knew Henry Hovind from Wisconsin. I got to meet him. I was just a young kid, 8 or 9 years old. Let's see. Ida Hovind, don't remember that one, Minneapolis. So let's see. Charlie Hovind up in Galesburg we went there all the time to Galesburg to Lake Bracken. Charlie Hovind's house. He had, let's see, his sons were Myron, Larry, and Charles Jr., I think. If anybody knows them in Galesburg, tell them, call Kent, say hi. I thought I'd let you atheists know the Hovinds tend to live a long time. I'm going to beat Julia's record of 94.6 or die trying. So you have a long time to hear me try to explain to you that you have chosen a really dumb religion. Why not admit it now and join the winning team? That's the thought. Okay. Get our video series on what on earth's about to happen, or the book about what's coming in the future, according to the Bible. Come visit us, Dinosaur Adventureland. Take the real tour. We're straight north of Pensacola, 70 miles, in a little bitty town of Lenox, Alabama, right there. Psalm 102, a prayer of the afflicted, expressing deep distress and seeking divine support during a period of suffering and hardship. You will have those times where you wonder, why on earth did God let this happen? I wrote a book on that when I was in prison. Why on earth did God let this happen, for heaven's sake? A bunch of stories, an email. Krista, could you or Stephen see if you can find, I wrote 7 books. This is one in hardback. One's done. Joseph, are they all up online? Okay. Well, add that to your long list of to-do to find the rest of that. Because that was just it was a fun series to write. As I went through the emotional roller coaster of prison, I would write. Sometimes I'd write to another prisoner, or sometimes I'd write to myself in the past or in the future. With an email, you can talk to anybody, anywhere. Okay, not email, an email. Okay. Anyway, the psalmist describes his personal anguish, comparing his days to smoke and his bones to furnace, indicating the intensity of his pain and the feeling of being consumed by it. He feels abandoned and alone, likening himself to an owl in the desert, a sparrow on a housetop, emphasizing his sense of isolation and despair. Here we go. Do not hide your face from me. Psalm 102. A prayer of the afflicted when he's overwhelmed. You ever been just overwhelmed? He poureth out his complaint. Hear my prayer, O Lord, and let my cry come unto thee. Hide not thy face from me in the day when I am in trouble. Incline thine ear unto me in the day when I call answer me speedily. You ever felt overwhelmed? Sometimes you're just like, I can't keep up. What do I do? Well, when you're overwhelmed, he poured out his complaint to the Lord. He said, I'm in trouble. Lord, I got a problem here. I'm in trouble. Help. Do something quick, Lord. Okay. My days are consumed like smoke. My bones are burned as an hearth. My heart is smitten and withered like grass, so that I forget to eat my bread. By reason of the voice of my groaning, my bones cleave to my skin. I'm like a pelican in the wilderness and like an owl of the desert. What? What's this have to do with it? I watch and am as a sparrow alone upon the housetop. Mine enemies reproach me all the day, and they that are mad against me are sworn against me. Interesting. Pelican is listed as one of the birds that you're not supposed to eat in Leviticus chapter 11. It's an unclean bird. Pelicans are only mentioned 3 times in the Bible. He said in Leviticus 11, don't eat the swan, don't eat the pelican, and don't eat the eagle. Deuteronomy repeats it. Don't eat the pelican, the eagle, and the cormorant. Psalm 102, like a pelican in the wilderness. There are 8 different kinds of pelicans. They might have had a common ancestor called a pelican. That kid today on the tour, he's having a blast. He was 8 years old. I say that about 40 times on my tour. I stop and say, kids, now there's 10 different kinds of skunks in the world. They might have had a common ancestor called a skunk. That does not prove that the skunk is related to, let's see, the turtle. Yeah, the skunk and the turtle. You can see the similarity. This is the stuff they teach our kids in public school. No wonder they think there's more than 2 genders. This is not a science chart. It's a propaganda poster. 8 kinds of pelicans. Now there are 225 kinds of owls. They probably had a common ancestor called an owl. Owls are amazing. They can rotate their necks 270 degrees. Thanks to their unique blood pooling system, it collects blood to power the brain and eyes when their neck is moved. See, when they turn their neck too far, it cuts off circulation. So how did that evolve? They have this special pooling of blood to hold blood for that. How did that evolve? See, for millions of years, they all died. None of them survived. They all turned their head too far and died. Until one of them finally said, we got to get a pool of blood in here to hunt around. You guys believe in evolution are insane. Asymmetrical ears. One ear is higher than the other, so they can hear which direction the sound's coming from. Who'd have thunk it? Affection display. Owls show by gently touching beaks. They're known as billing. Touch their beaks together. That's I love you in owl language, okay? Some owls eat other owls. The great horned owl preys on barn owls. Parents, sometimes when food is hard to get, they only feed the strongest chicks. Let the other ones die. Elf owl, smallest one, only 5 or 6 inches tall. The Blackiston's fish owl, the largest owl, up to 32 inches tall. Pretty good sized owl. They have feathers on the front that makes it, their wings are silent. Owl flight, you can't hear them fly through the air. How did that evolve? Parliament is the name of a group of owls, a parliament. Let's see, a gaggle of geese, a pride of lions, a murder of crows, school of fish. What's a group of atheists together called? Idiots. Okay. Special Olympics. Okay. The little owl, introduced to UK from mainland Europe in the 18th century, has evolved to fit native ecosystems. Right. It's still an owl, guys. It didn't evolve anything. There are 50 different kinds of sparrows. They might have had a common ancestor called a sparrow. Anyway, I'm like a pelican in the wilderness, an owl and a sparrow. Mine enemies reproach me all the day, and they that are mad against me are sworn against me. You think there's anybody mad at us out there, Joseph? You read the comments. 1 or 2? And if we go up to Kentucky on July 6th and the atheists are holding their rally, why don't you guys hold a rally against lies in the textbooks? What's the matter with you, cowards, hypocrites? Come on. There are lies in the textbooks. I spell them out clearly on video number 4. Let's just pick one. The embryo having gill slits. Proven wrong in 1874. The textbooks are still teaching that. Embryology. Why don't you do a rally against all the public schools and universities that still have that in their books? Come on. Show you're really honest. You can't because you're not really honest. Okay. Let's see. I have eaten ashes like bread and mingled my drink with weeping. I don't know. Crying in your beer, is that what they get? Okay. Because of thine indignation and thy wrath, for thou hast lifted me up and cast me down. He feels like, God, you picked me up and you slammed me. For my days are like a shadow that declineth. I am withered like grass. He's really feeling like he's having a rough time. Okay. But thou, O Lord, shalt endure forever. and thy remembrance to all generations. Thou shalt rise and have mercy upon Zion, for the time to favor her. Yea, the set time is come. For thy servants take pleasure in her stones, and favor the dust thereof. The people who love Jerusalem, they just love even the rocks over there. When I was over there, it's pretty dry and dusty, and there's a lot of rocks. Okay? They had no problem finding rocks to stone somebody. They're everywhere. Okay? Talk about a gravel pit. Okay. Their servants favor her. The heathen shall fear the name of the Lord, and all the kings of the earth thy glory. When the Lord shall build up Zion, he shall appear in his glory. He will regard the prayer of the destitute and not despise their prayer. When the Lord's going to build up Zion, he shall appear. Is this talking about the future? I don't know. I think so. Okay. In Psalm chapter 90, it says, the days of our years are 70 years. You're going to live 70, 60 years, and 70. And if by reason of strength, they're 80. This is where the Bible says you're going to get 70 or maybe 80 years out of life generally. And that's what we get. 80, let's take 80. Israel became a nation, 48. I just wonder if 80 years later in 2028 is when the Lord's going to come. I don't know. We shall see. Who heard of such a thing? Shall the earth be made forth in a day? Shall a nation be born at once? A nation, they're going to become a nation in one day? That's what happened May 14th, 1948. Poof, there goes Israel. I don't know. When I wrote my book, what's about to happen, somebody wrote me, several people wrote in, Hovind, when do you think the Lord's coming? I said, I don't know. But if I had to guess, 2028. And here's my reasons why. And they're all in my book there. This is one of them here. Maybe it doesn't tie in. I don't know. I'm not setting a date. I don't know when he's coming. For this shall be written for the generation to come, and the people which shall be created shall praise the Lord. So this new nation that was created in 1948, you watch. Now the Jews are not a godly people. They're God's people, but they're not a godly people. So pray for them, okay? For he hath looked down from the height of his sanctuary, from heaven did the Lord behold the earth, to hear the groaning of the prisoner, to loose those that are appointed to death, to declare the name of the Lord in Zion, and his praise in Jerusalem. When the people are gathered together, and the kingdoms to serve the Lord, he weakeneth my strength in the way, he shorteneth my days. The psalmist is really struggling, okay? I said, oh my God, take me not away in the midst of my days. Thy years are throughout all generations. Lord, I don't want to die young. Let me live longer. Of old hast thou laid the foundations of the earth, and the heavens are the work of thy hands. Heavens. The foundation of the earth, that phrase is found 7 times in the Bible. He laid the foundation of the earth, Isaiah 48. Let's see. The burden of the word of the Lord to Isaiah, for Zechariah, which stretcheth forth the heavens, and layeth the foundation of the earth. Is there a foundation to the earth? By the way, he stretched out the heavens. That's why we see a redshift, and the stars are billions of light years away and are not billions of years old. Duh. Okay. It's Hebrews. And thou, Lord, in the beginning hast laid the foundation of the earth. The heavens, plural, are the works of thy hands. Now, Genesis 1:1 says heaven singular. If your Bible says heavens, plural, throw it away. Okay. Put it on the shelf. Get a King James. All that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of the book of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world. The foundation of the world. Let's see. Then foundations, plural, found in the Bible a bunch more times. The earth shook, the foundations of heaven moved and shook. Where wast thou when I laid the foundations of the earth? This is one of the questions God asked to Job in Job 38. God asked Job 84 questions. Job didn't answer any. These are the kind of questions that don't need an answer. The answer is obvious. Like when your dad says, hey, Dad, I think I should be allowed to stay out till 4 a.m. He says, well, son, let me ask you a question. Who pays the electric bill around this house? Who bought this house? Who bought that bed you slept on? Who paid for them clothes you changed about a week ago? Who paid for that soap you took a shower with about a month ago, son? Who pays that food for you? Eat and eat and eat. Look, when Dad starts asking you those questions, shut your mouth, nod your head. Yeah, Dad, you're right. Okay. The earth shook and trembled. The foundations also of the hills moved and were shaken. They know not, neither do they understand. They walk on in darkness. The foundations of the earth are out of course. He laid the foundations of the earth that it should not be removed. That's coming up in Psalm 104. When he gave to the sea his decree that the water should not pass, he appointed the foundations of the earth. Foundations of the earth, found in the Bible a bunch of times. Have you not known? Have you not heard? Hath it not been told you? Have you not understood from the foundations of the earth? You forget the Lord thy maker and stretch forth the heavens. By the way, again, there he is stretching the heavens. That's why we have a redshift. And that's why the stars are not billions of light years old, billions of years old. He laid the foundations of the earth. Thus saith the Lord, if the heaven can be measured and the foundations of the earth searched out. Wait a minute, is God saying we can't measure the heavens? That's correct. Nobody knows where it stops. We cannot measure the heavens. And we can't search the foundations of the earth. Nobody's been down there. We have guesses what's down there with seismic waves, S&P waves, and all that from earthquakes. But nobody knows. Have you not known? Have you not heard? Hath it not been told you from the beginning? Have you not understood from the foundations of the earth? He stretched out the heavens as a curtain. The foundations of the earth. Are we okay? I put my words in thy mouth and have covered thee in the shadow of thy hand, that I may plant the heavens and lay the foundations of the earth. Thus saith the Lord, if heaven can be measured, the foundations of the earth searched out. I will cast off all the seed of Israel. So if God says, if you can figure out the size of heaven and figure out the foundations of the earth, I'll cast my chosen people out. Well, that ain't going to happen. Hear, O ye mountains, the Lord's controversy, ye strong foundations of the earth. It's interesting. Psalm 102 tells us that God laid the foundations of old. Hebrews 1 echoes the thought that God laid the foundations in the beginning. Job 38 simply says God laid the foundations of the earth. But Job 38:6 says the foundations are fastened upon something else. What are the foundations of the earth fastened upon? That's what Job 38:6 talks about. Hebrews 1 names something else as Lord Jesus Christ, upholds all things by the word of his power. Proverbs 28 tells us that. Proverbs 3 indicates the earth was founded by wisdom, while Jeremiah 31 indicates the foundations are not searchable. You can't search them. Micah tells us they're strong, so strong the earth should never be removed. I don't know who those guys are. Christian Data Resources. I don't know who they are, but I thought this was a good comment. Okay. They've tried to figure out what's in the middle of the earth. Best thing you can do is get like a sonogram, send the sound waves to from an earthquake, pick them up on the other side. They get S&P waves. And they've decided they think the earth probably has, several layers to it, the core, etc. But they've never really been able to search the foundations of the earth. Okay. They shall perish, but thou shalt endure. God, you're going to endure. All of them shall wax old like a garment. As a vesture shalt thou change them. They shall be changed. But thou art the same, and thy years shall have no end. The children of thy servant shall continue, and their seed shall be established before thee. But God has chosen the children of Israel as his chosen people, not because they're better than anybody, because they've done some dumb things down through their history. But God chose Abraham and said, you and your seed are going to get this land. And you Palestinians are talking about from the river to the sea. You want to throw the Jews out and get their land. God's going to give Jews your land from the river Euphrates to the Nile River is all going to be the promised land. You watch, it'll happen. All those other countries are going to have to fold up. Anyway, Psalm 102, great chapter. Any questions or comments, brother? The dire wolf, as they say they brought back, that it's so exciting to bring in the new species. It's been around for a while before. And if anything, there's still wolves around. It's just a different kind of wolf. I don't know if it's interfertile with the other ones or not. We'll see. It doesn't matter. It's still a dog-like animal. Not proof it's related to a banana or a potato. Okay. So who is Kent sending to the ark? Counter. Well, it's not for sure yet. It'll be 2 or 3 or 4 of us go. Come on, join us. Okay. No, they took us off of YouTube, and we're on a bunch of other channels because YouTube can't handle the truth. There is a petition someplace to try to get YouTube reinstated. Have you seen that? Petition to reinstate Kent Hovind YouTube. So if you find that, sign it. And if you go back and get my February 1st show, Open Letter to Donald Trump, please look at that, February 1st, and send that to everybody you know in Congress and anybody in political power. But Donald Trump needs to get that. They need to look at my case and use that as an example of how the Justice Department gets weaponized against a Baptist preacher. just because they don't like what he's preaching. Yeah. Okay. I believe we can accurately measure 124 light years away. Why does AI say 47 billion? It's artificial intelligence. With parallax trigonometry, it's pretty tough to measure 100 light years. I cover that on video number 7. Okay. Hope you and the crew are doing well. The question is, what is C14? Well, carbon, the element carbon, is normally carbon 12. That's atomic weight. Okay, atomic number 12. But carbon 14 is nitrogen that has been slapped around by UV light and turned into carbon 14. It's radioactive. It does not like to be carbon 14. It starts to decay. Let me get seminar part 7 open here. There we go. On video number 7 about questions and answers, it's actually 5 hours long on 2 DVDs if you get my series here. Seminar part 7. Where is that? Right here. Carbon dating, right? I like that. The diamond talking to the coal. You look older than your profile. Yeah, I've been under a lot of pressure. That's cute, whoever did that one. So I show how all carbon dating is based on some very obvious assumptions, okay? It's been shown clearly it does not work very well, especially when you realize the Earth before the flood came had crystal canopy overhead, over the atmosphere, like it says in Genesis 1 and 2. There was water above the firmament, and the firmament's where the birds fly. So that crystal canopy would block out UV light, which prevents the formation of carbon-14. So the animals living under the world before the flood came, under that canopy, probably had very little to no C14 in them. So when we dig them up today and try to date them by today's standard, we get a wrong number. You got the wrong ruler. So watch my video number 7 for a whole lot more on that. Plus, I covered that a couple weeks ago on my show here. Carbon dating. Okay, more? Thank you for strengthening my faith. Can't thank you enough. Well, good. Spread it around. Look at 2 Corinthians chapter 1. Sometimes God lets you go through things so that you can then have a ministry to help other people going through the same thing. People that went to war and got their leg shot off or their arm shot off, they can start a ministry for one-armed people that I would not understand. A lot of things you can't do with just one arm, like rub both your eyes at the same time. I mean, a lot of things you can't do with just one arm. They need somebody to minister to them. Maybe that something bad happened to you. Hang in there, stay true, and maybe you can be a minister to somebody else having the same problem. That's what I look like on TikTok, brother. Long, tall, and skinny. I like that. Okay, more? Okay. Just wondering who the doctor would say, who built the pyramids? I covered that, what I know about it, video number 7 of the series. You get the whole series for $50. Return it when you're done. Get your money back if you want. But I think the Great Pyramid is the strange one. That one might have been built before the flood and survived the flood. What would a flood do to a pyramid? Get it wet, and then it dry out. So that's one theory. The other ones are copies. Obviously, some Egyptians guys built it. I think if you look at the Bible, the people were living to be 900 before the flood. You could learn a whole lot in 900 years. Oh, there it is. And after the flood, they still lived to be 400. You can get these charts on our website, Dr. Dino. On the back is all about Grand Canyon, probably formed in a week, not millions of years. So I think about this time, people who were living a long time, they would have known probably about technology that we don't even think about. I've heard stories, I don't know, that they could raise heavy weights with music, sound waves. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Somebody else can fight that battle. Okay. Not allowing comments or stitches to your video. What?
I don't allow comments or stitches on TikTok.
I don't know what stitches are.
Yeah, they want to take your video and add themselves to it.
Oh.
I don't allow that. I'm just saying there's something about you.
Okay, well get your own channel, TikTok, whatever you want to TikTok. Okay. I want to ride on my coattails. Okay. All right, that's it. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow. All right. Bye.